sign this agreement for us.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Wacki?
Yes.
Mr. Ryback?
Yes.
Mr. Coral?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes, number 17, Brad.
Thank you. We received 3 responses to our requested proposal on the reassessment project. We reviewed those. State Office of Real Property Services, Chet, Charlotte, and myself reviewed all of the printed proposals. We then reviewed each contractor. There was 3 responses, as I said. We found that GAR Associates was the most responsive to the proposal. We were most impressed with their public relations setup and the technology they were going to use in digitizing photos and property record cards. So we did select GAR Associates.
What was the cost per parcel? I don't remember off the top of my head. It's like 68 maybe?
Yes, 68 per parcel.
Per parcel cost I have is $65.14 for GAR Associates, yes.
When I listened to their presentation, I was most favorable of the communications that they will use with each taxpayer. They're going to hold classes to help people to get through the process, to show them how to fill out paperwork, how to agree or disagree, or and get them through the whole process. And I was very impressed with that, because this is going to be difficult for some people, and it'll be hard on some people. And the more help we can give, the more we're doing our own job as servants of the taxpayers who work in this town. And I think that if we put trust in these folks, that they're going to do a good job. And we're also going to come and watch what's going on, because that's our responsibility to make sure that a good job is done. And I appreciated the time and effort that all of the companies put into to make a presentation, because we talked to them over 2 hours, each of the companies, and it was not easy, because some questions that were posed were tough, and it was sometimes a concession process, because the people who were interviewing demanded what needs to be done in order to get this happening in our town.
As was mentioned, between the 3 of them, GAR was very professional. They didn't run away from any tough questions. When there was a question that was asked, they had an answer. The thing that impressed me most is, as Charlotte mentioned, they're going to have meetings. They'll let you sign up, I believe, online. They're going to limit the people to like 50 or 60 people. They'll have that, I believe, and quote me or correct me if I'm wrong, the comment was made, we'll have as many meetings as we need to make sure that everybody understands. Rather than have a meeting at the high school and have 300 people over there and have a little chaotic session from time to time. It's going to be a little more personal. And I believe it's going to be definitely a lot easier for people to understand the process. Any other questions?
I have one.
Okay.
Has there been any discussion of payment with the contractor? Because I know that there's a section of the agreement that talked about that, but it was left blank for now, and I just wanted to make sure that the town board and the contractor were comfortable that that could be resolved.
Great, do you have?
That is something that Jean was looking into. That is flexible. We haven't decided if we're going to do it over 2 years or 3 years, but they're open to any of those payment plans.
At the meeting, they expressed that they can be very flexible with getting payments to them. We had at the meeting discussed asking if maybe we can bill part of this into next year's tax plan and make a payment then, and then through the following year. They did seem open to it, but nothing formal was done to pay it. Obviously, whatever they need us to do, we will get them paid. We we may have to borrow,
Can
if that's
we,
the case.
could we have a representative from GAR come up front, please? And if you could answer that question, I'm not sure if you can or not.
Thank you, Supervisor. Cindy Baird from Gar Associates. I'm one of the partners of the organization. And yes, we did express that we were willing to work with the town, and we are also willing to go out a fourth year if necessary, whatever, we can do where we have that flexibility. We left it blank purposely because there weren't any discussions yet as to what the town's needs might be, but we are willing to work with you and do whatever we can to make it palatable for everybody.
So can we agree that if you're gonna move forward tonight, you approve the contract and then we come back and approve their payment schedule at a later date? Is that okay?
That's
I have no
absolutely fine.
problem with that.
Yes, because we do have a pretty aggressive start time, and, there wouldn't actually be another meeting before the beginnings of what we required was to begin.
Yes, I did forward a contract to Brad, who forwarded to your attorney to look at. It's been looked at by several attorneys, so I'm sure she was pretty comfortable with the language. But we're open to some suggestions if there's any. We are in a very tight time frame, so the sooner we can get this done, signed, and get going, we've got a lot of things to do in the next 4 weeks, especially to get everyone notified and comfortable with the process.
Okay, and our concerns with budgeting this, and the fact that, in this day and time, that all government entities are squeezing the tomato, if you want to say, and so, being able to plan it into the next cycle would be important to us.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Heather, any comments?
Nothing else,
No. What question do you have? Because I'm interested in questions.
I have 2 questions. Where is this company based? And are we talking $65 a parcel times 13,000 parcel?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that's what we're talking about, and they have offices in Buffalo and in Albany, and they will be drawing people from, they have the ability to draw people from different areas in order to accomplish what needs to be done. One of the things that what concerned us was that several of the companies who came were talking about hiring some people right away, and that they were going to overhire, like, how many they say, 37 extra
Yeah.
people just because they knew they were going to lose some and some weren't going to be appropriate. And, the plan of people to actually do the work was a little bit loose, and I didn't want anything that to be incorrect or not up to par in measuring and looking at and beginning the work of evaluating people's property.
Didn't they say also that they would have to, these other companies were gonna have to train these people?
Yes, they will have to train people. Or they were gonna try to operate with only 5 folks to get all this done by, next January. That seemed a little scary to me, a little bit far-fetched in saying that they could accomplish that.
So if it's approved tonight, they'll start in a month or so?
I believe the beginning date would be July 1st. Is that not correct,
I don't
Brad?
have the schedule in front of me. It's pretty quick.
We were talking about, when we were doing interviews, that, the bids said that some things needed information, things were beginning in July. Maybe not day 1, but the beginning of July.
Anything else, Heather?
No, thank you.
Someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion, because I know you're waiting for me to do this. So you can bow out if something doesn't go right. Because that's how yes, I know how that goes.
Approve as presented, that way.
There we go, okay.
Bowing out.
All right, I'll second.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Tarwacki?
Yes.
Mr. Rideout?
Yes.
Mr. Corral?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.